Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Earl Starflames and we're back with another banging video. So if you're new or returning and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, turn on your notification bell and join the family. While you're at it, give this video a big thumbs up and help your girl out. Now guys, in this video, we're gonna talk about Halle Bailey maintaining her distance from DDG and critics thinking that Halle is just walking around Italy with that restraining order in her hand. Let's talk about it, shall we? Because as you guys know, yes, Halle did in fact file for a restraining order against DDG, inciting that she has endured some unpleasantries from DDG. She spoke about, him slamming her face in the steering wheel, leaving her with a chipped tooth, and she also submitted evidence of a bruised arm, and as such was granted a temporary restraining order. Now, after that, we know that Halle, she was granted sole legal custody of Halo, which is temporary, and she's currently in Rome, Italy, working on a film. So while she was out there with her team, she was spotted with some papers in her hand, and critics tend to believe that that is Halle walking around with a restraining order in her hand. So they were like, damn, Halle is walking around with a restraining order in her hand. But no, it's not. It is definitely not the restraining order. It is her script for the movie, I believe. Do you know how you have your script and they walk you through the scene, what is expected, and you take a look at your script to say, oh, I stand here and I say this and I say that, then I turn, then I do this and I do that. That is exactly what is going on here. However, with the internet being messy, they're gonna twist it and they're gonna have their own interpretation of exactly what is going on, even though I'm sure Halle is a lot smarter than that and she is moving on. So as such, that's definitely not the restraining order. It is not something that even looks like that or something that Halle would be walking around with. But nothing beats a little bit of humor on the internet. And I think that anyone who knows the restraining order would know that this person was just being funny and not serious, but it is still a good share. But anywho, guys, you can definitely tell that, Halle is all the way focused on her work. And this is one thing that was brought out a few months ago, wherein Halle was, highlighted as, one of those young actresses who once she's given a project and once she's interviewed about the project, how she basically represents the brand, represents that, media house and the gratitude that she pours out to the public. And as such, many people predicted that she would have been chosen for a lot more roles in the future because she consistently sells the product. She believes in it. If there's any bad experiences that she's had while she's on set, she doesn't bring it to the public because she knows that oftentimes as a Black woman, whenever you're given certain opportunities, it is oftentimes, unfortunately, rare, and she's just extremely grateful, and she extends that gratitude to the wider public, and as such, she was really dubbed as a good candidate for any production company to work with. So while she's out there in Rome, Italy, I know she's going to go above and beyond to ensure that they who chose her are not disappointed in her, not even a single bit. Even if there's something that she's not completely satisfied or happy with, she's going to work through it in the best possible way. So as such, you know that Halle, she's going to go really, really far. We may look at the hiccups that she's had with DDG and say it has affected her career, but you know what? Life happens. And I don't think that it has affected her career in a major way either. And I'm also going to go on record to say this. DDG and Halle, they are pretty young. And you may say, but they're in their 20s. Listen, no one has life completely figured out. And should it be a case that Halle and DDG decides they're going to go to therapy and they're going to try to make their relationship work for their son, Halo? My only problem and concern for Halle would be DDG's family, because I do believe that DDG's family, they are really bad enablers, because DDG and Halle, they had a falling out. We haven't heard anything from Halle's family, and we know that they're upset. We can imagine they are upset because when Halle was with a child, with Halo, and there was gossips around her name, Chloe came out and said, "Do not call my sister's effing name in your mouth." And I said, no, Chloe, that is bad. It is bad for your brand. It is bad for your sister's brand. It was just bad overall. Do not address the public like that going forward. And I'm happy they've realized that what they did in that moment was not a good thing for their brands or image. So when the drama started with DDG, we haven't heard a single thing from Halle's family. And I know they're rooting for her, they're supporting her, but DDG's family, they were so quick to come on the internet and cause mess, chaos, and drama. I understand the importance of being supportive to your family, but I believe that if DDG's family were actively involved without taking sides, things between Halle and DDG could have been fixed behind the scenes, in a sense where they wouldn't even need to be in court. I believe that if DDG's family was not messy or toxic, what they would have done is to lobby for both families to come together and have a discussion with Halle and DDG, with two, other professionals in the middle, and help Halle and DDG to work out their differences. And if they were going to go their separate way after working out their differences, they would do so amicably, in the sense where it would not get to the public spotlight. But you can literally tell that DDG's family did not do anything to assist Halle during the moment of her going through all of that emotional turmoil. And even when Halle came public, and even if they believe that she was lying on DDG, they did not have to come out public and say anything, because remember that Halle came out as an individual in a professional manner. She did not come to social media to say, this is what is happening with me. She went to the legal system, and through the courts, that's how their business was made public, right? So after she did that, DDG's family started the mess on the internet. And then DDG wanted to one up on Halle and say, I'm not going to take this. I'm going to defend myself and prove that you've also done something to me. Well, what DDD, let me back up. What DDG did, it's not entirely wrong, but the only concerning factor is why didn't he take the first move? And his family was just being messy, towards Halle. And then DDG he felt so attacked that he attacked Halle in a manner which was completely uncalled for, because not only did he spoke about his experience with her, he basically labeled her to be an individual that is suffering from psychological unwellness, painting her to be mentally unwell, which is further damaging her emotion, the emotional turmoils that she has been suffering ever since she's been with him, experiencing the emotional abuse that she has experienced from him, coupled with the physical abuse. So you could tell that DDG didn't care about, you know, how he affected her in his response. All he was focused on was revenge, getting revenge. He was focused on getting a resolution, and his family basically helped him to orchestrate revenge against Halle. So what we saw on a public scope was an entire family attacking one individual because that individual chose to speak out. And it shows that DDG's family is something, they are a group of people that Halle needs to be very, very, very careful of. She needs to be very careful, because whenever a family is like that and they don't know how to lobby and negotiate for peace, especially when a child is involved, you never know what they might be orchestrating behind the scenes. So Halle could be orchestrating and consistently lobbying for peace, while they may never have an end to causing her pain and chaos inside. DDG's family may consistently target Halle for the rest of her life, which would be extremely, extremely horrible. I pray this doesn't happen, but already we see DDG's sister liking a post that is describing Halle to be a crackhead. The family is given extremely problematic, and because they're giving extremely problematic, I don't think it's going to be possible for DDG to ever be in a healthy relationship unless he completely keeps his family at a healthy distance and set boundaries in his life, and then do some necessary work on himself. But with his family, I can't see him having a healthy relationship. But as it relates to the internet saying Halle is walking around with the restraining order, no, that is just a script for her movie. But I just want to come out here and add my 2 cents to that, because there's some things that I can see through clearly. Halle and DDG could work if it wasn't for DDG's family. Because of DDG's family, he will never have a healthy relationship, no matter how perfect the woman is. And that's all I have to say about that for this video. Let me know what's your take. While you're at it, do all you need to do on this video to support your girl. Peace.